Hello everyone and welcome to our webinar Auxalia PlantTools Workflows with Plant 3D Collaboration Projects. Glad that you are here today. A bit about me. My name is Ern Akcan and I'm an application engineer at Auxalia. Before we begin, just a quick note. Feel free to ask questions in the chat. We will answer them at the end of the presentation. Now, I hand it over to Carsten. Please start.
Yep. Yeah. Hello, everyone. So some of you may already know me. My name is Carsten Beinecke. I'm the product manager of PlantTools. I'm also responsible for consulting in the process plant environment or industry. I have more than 35 years of experience in process plant, also doing design work. Started with AutoCAD 9. Some experience regarding several databases, which of course comes in handy when you work with Plant 3D. I have a agenda, or the agenda for today looks like this. I don't think any one of you were in the German session yesterday. I made a slight adjustment for the first topic is why using collaboration in the first place. And then about the workflow with Plant Data Manager and Plant Reporter. These are our desktop applications. They are, let's say, a little bit special compared to the plugins. And then I talk about the PlantTools configuration files, and then about the online documentation, next development steps, and then we have time for Q&A. Okay, some people still joining. Okay, I will continue with the next slide. And this is about why using collaboration in the first place. And this is a slide I didn't have yesterday. The plant or process plant customers jumped on the collaboration wagon relatively late compared to, let's say, Revit users or so. But there are several advantages, specifically to process plant or to Plant 3D in particular. So I'm not talking about in general here about why you should use collaboration or what all the advantages are. It's really specific to Plant 3D. And so in general, you are independent of your location, either if you have different offices and you work together, also globally, of course, or you're working from home or from the job site. It is very convenient. You don't need a network access or to your company's network. You just use the cloud. Internet connection is all you need, essentially. Independent of your device, this is specifically true if it comes to viewing drawings. You cannot draw, let's say, on an iPhone or an iPad. You cannot draw PNIDs, but you can view your drawings or the other documents you have in your project. But of course, I'm concentrating here on the PNID or 3D drawings. No IT involvement needed. And this is something we recognized lately, that several customers used to use SQL Server when working with Plant 3D, and especially for bigger projects or for more if more people are working on a project. But then the IT starts limiting user rights, which causes sometimes a lot of headache for the user and for us. Because Plant 3D itself and also PlantTools need some user rights, and this is not always available. So using collaboration eliminates that whole topic. And access to your project. Everyone who is supposed to work on the project, you can also set the user rights, but that's all through a web interface. No need for IT for that. For us and for you in extension, support is made easy because if you invite us to a project where there is some issue, some questions, then you invite us to the project and we can have a look on the project or on whatever the issue is. And of course, that leads to the last point here is helping with project or PlantTools setup or changes. That is much easier because if you have access to the project, we can review the setup, we can make changes. Of course, we have to be very careful because it's then a live project, but it's much more convenient than sending a project back and forth between you and us. So that is very, very helpful. Okay, now I have to speed up a bit about the workflow of Plant Data Manager and Plant Reporter. As I mentioned, just checking, as I mentioned, there are these are our desktop applications. Plant Data Manager allows you to edit the data you create with Plant 3D, typically the P90 data, but not limited to the P90 data. And with Plant Reporter, you can then create lists, data sheets, whatever. Plant Reporter is essentially the parent of Report Creator. Autodesk licensed in 2010 our Plant Reporter, which is now known as Report Creator, but we added more features to it. Plant Data Manager and Plant Reporter with collaboration projects require a license of Plant 3D 2023 or higher. So that causes sometimes discussions with the customers because the engineer who doesn't actually use Plant 3D, he just wants to edit the data, still requires a license of Plant 3D. To, let's say, circumvent purchasing a full Plant 3D license, what you can do is, and what several customers now do, you can use tokens. And this is available by now, I think, since last February or so. Tokens are available to all customers. So, for example, we have a Swiss company who purchased 30 Plant Data Manager licenses for about 50 or 60 workstations for the engineers, but they didn't want to purchase 50 or 60 Plant 3D licenses. So they purchased, I think, 200 tokens, which are, I think, 600 euros or so, or probably US dollars as well. And then Plant Data Manager and Plant Reporter, or the use Plant 3D, but with tokens. And tokens will be consumed only if Plant 3D is running longer than 5 minutes. And we do not exceed that with Plant Data Manager and Plant Reporter. So you essentially never use up your tokens or consume your tokens. Also, a side note is that the AutoCAD Plant Report Creator does not, for example, well, you can create lists or reports with your collaboration project, but then you need to start Plant 3D first, open the project to have the latest data in your work folder, and then you can use Report Creator to create a list. With Plant Reporter, this is not necessary. Okay, so how does Plant Data Manager and Plant Reporter work with collaboration projects? When you start, and I will demonstrate that, of course, so I will be a little bit shorter here. Plant Data Manager and Plant Reporter. If you start this, then and you want to open a collaboration project, Plant Data Manager starts the so-called AC Core Console. This is essentially an AutoCAD without a user interface. It's just a command line. Typically, you don't start that, but Plant Data Manager can start it in the background. You don't see it. And with this AC Core Console comes a DLL we developed, and this DLL is listening for some commands. And the exchange between Plant Data Manager, Plant Reporter on one side and Plant 3D essentially on the other side is going through a command file. So Plant Data Manager starts it, and then it writes a command in the command file. The DLL is listening, I need to do this, and then it executes it. Maybe there is some result coming back, and if it's done, it writes back the result. And then Plant Data Manager is also listening. if what the result is and executes or does whatever it's supposed to do. And if this runs essentially in circles unless there's nothing to do anymore, and then the AC Core Console will be stopped and no tokens that I mentioned before are used up. Okay, let's make a quick demo. I have Task Manager here, which becomes a little bit interesting later. It's not something you need to do, just for demonstration purposes. So just for the fun of it, I have the AC Core Console here on my desktop. It's just an Excel you find in your AutoCAD folder. And if I start this, you see command. So it's really like you can use open. It doesn't make sense, of course, to use it like this, but it's typically customers use it for some sort of batch processing, for plotting or whatever. So, but you can use standard AutoCAD commands. Of course, you don't see anything. But this AC Core Console will start in the background. So if I now make the example with Plant Data Manager, and I will then use Open Collaboration Project, you will see now here that the AC Core Console, where is it? Hold on. Details. Oh, sorry, there it is, AC Core Console. So this is now executing, and you see, so what you see here is our file watcher. Typically, you don't see that. I activated it. We do that typically for support cases where we want to investigate something, if a file is downloaded or not. But so this is just helping us for support, but you can use it as well. I will later show you how you can activate it. But it essentially shows the back and forth between Plant Data Manager on one side and the AC Core Console on the other side. So what's happening right now, I will move that, maybe make that a little bit smaller. We don't need that anymore. I will just move it down. So what's happening right now is that Plant Data Manager is loading all the Plant 3D projects in all my collaboration accounts, which takes a while a bit. So now, this dialog is similar to what you are used to in Plant 3D. So you can of course filter, and I will open this project. This project doesn't exist yet. Let me just show this here on my drive. So it doesn't exist yet, but Plant Data Manager, Plant Reporter can open or download, not just open, it can download collaboration projects. Okay, so it starts downloading. It's the same process as you have in Plant 3D. Of course, the first time it takes a little bit longer. And now, if you already use, some of you I think already do, if you use Plant Data Manager, you are familiar with that dialog. This is our loading dialog where you see the progress of the loading process. The progress of the loading process, So as you can see here, for example, it runs refresh from project. So you can be sure if Plant Data Manager is open or is done with loading the project, that the data you see is up to date. It's the latest data you can actually get. And now also some configuration files are downloaded. I will come back to the configuration files in the next chapter. And the loading is then complete. Again, that takes longer only the first time because the files need to be downloaded the first time. And you see the data is here. The AC Core Console is now closed, so no license is used anymore. And everything is downloaded. So this is the process. And if I make any change, data change, or if I close, then all the files are checked in again. Okay, next step, our configuration files, how they are handled. So not just Plant Data Manager, but also all our plugins in like Plant Express tools, Plant Link, and so on. They have a bunch of configuration files. The configuration files can be seen here under related files, then AC PlantTools folder. You can also see them in regular Project Manager. This is our Plant Project Manager, part of Plant Express Tools. So you see under related files in the AC PlantTools folder, and then the several chapters. This is essentially the folder structure you have also here in your project, in your work folder, and then the files as usual. So what we do with all our files is they are linked in the so-called MISC DCF or in the MISC database. That's the database, one of 5 databases of Plant3D, which stores any folder or file which is supposed to be shown under related files. That applies also if you add, let's say, an Excel sheet or a PDF to related files. They will be linked by Plant3D to this database. So this is where you can find them if you want to look for them. And yeah, this is handled by our PlantTools as well. Or so they appear in Project Manager or Plant Project Manager. What you cannot do, that's the only limitation, you cannot add under the AC PlantTools folder here, you cannot add your own files directly. And the reason is that it looks like under related files, typically you would see the structure of your folders the way you see it on your hard drive or in your work folder. This is not the case with the AC PlantTools folder. The AC PlantTools folder appears to be under related files, but in reality, it's directly here under the project, and then you have all the subfolders. It's not here under the related files folder. The reason is that we always had the AC PlantTools folder under the project name, and when we adapted PlantTools for collaboration, we did not want to start moving our configuration files to a different location. So this is why you cannot add yourself files here, and typically that's not required because the files are handled by the various PlantTools. And what you can do, if needed, you can delete folders or files, and you can check them out and check them in yourself manually. There are a few use cases when you would like to do that. But I think I skip over this for time to stay in my time. So what I want to show is, let's start with Plant Data Manager. For example, if I open the settings dialog for our properties palette, the properties palette is part of Plant Express Tools, but also of Plant Data Manager. So instrumentation, instrumentation. I made some changes yesterday. So for example, I can can close that. So for example, the setup here is set up here under settings, and so now it's checking out the configuration file. So no other person can now make changes to the setup. Similar to when you open project setup in Plant3D of your Plant3D project. And then I can make, let's say I have here, that's the tab we see here. And I can say, oh, it's from yesterday, from my German session. So whatever, calculated prop. And then I will use type, for example. So I make some changes. If I close it, now the file, the configuration file behind it gets checked in. That's this file here. So I can then, other users can use that file after it is checked in. So of course we see the change here, but more importantly, now the file is checked in and other users can use it as well. So now let's start Plant3D. I'm closing Plant Data Manager. Now the remaining files which are checked out will be checked in. And now I will start Plant3D. I'm just checking, yep. And so what will happen now, I downloaded the project the first time with Plant Data Manager, but there are more configuration files. So what we will see now, so there are more configuration files than Plant Data Manager needs. So now the other PlantTools will start downloading some additional configuration files. That's what's happening right now for bolt calculation and so on. So this is happening now. And what I will then show is how it looks in Project Manager or Plant Project Manager. Okay. So let's wait a bit. Okay. I get a notification because in Plant Data Manager I made some changes. I could import now, but I will skip over that. This presentation is really about the workflow of Plant 3D and PlantTools. So if we look here in our Plant Project Manager, we have an expand all function, which makes it a little bit more convenient. You see now all these files which are handled by PlantTools. And you can see the same if you use a regular project manager. There you also see the various configuration files. And I will skip over the part where I make changes now in Plant Express tools, but this is the workflow. So if I, in Plant Data Manager, the files are checked in and checked out, but of course, when I'm using, for example, the settings here in Plant 3D, as the settings of Plant Express tools, then also some files will be checked out and maybe downloaded, and then the settings dialog opens. I can make modifications, and if I'm done and I'm closing it, then some files will be checked in again. So this should do it for in regards to this, in general, to configuration files. The next one is I want to keep short now, is about a special configuration or special configuration files we have in PlantTools. These are our collection XML files. There are 6 of them in different PlantTools. Plant Spectrum and Plant Reporter, Plant Link have 1 each, and Plant Express tools there are 3. And so we have a dialog. In this case, it's for the Plant Express tools calculation function. And we have this dialog similar in 6 different versions, but it looks pretty much the same. And for example, here for the calculation, and I think I can just show that live to save some time. If I open this here, you see that you can create a new calculation, you can edit an existing calculation, you can delete the calculation, and you can import a calculation. And of course, you can have a lot of calculations here. It's just that one. So what is happening if I have all the calculations in this case will be written in that collection XML file in order for our PlantTools to know which calculation files actually exist, and to make it faster to download and to upload these configuration files. And just to give you a short demonstration, if we look at the web or the browser on our project, we see the calculation file, we see the collection file here. And if I delete this calculation, and then I close the dialog, now if we look at the browser, not just in my local work folder, but also here on ACC or BIM 360, the calculation file will get removed, and the collection file gets updated. This is now version 10, and the other one should be gone. Oh, there it is. Didn't refresh. So I went back and forth. So the calculation file is gone. The collection file is now version 10. And now I will just import the file again. Of course, I saved it. So again, I will import, and if we look, we will see that will become version 11, and the calc file or the calculation file will be here. So these collection XML files are a little bit special compared to other configuration files of PlantTools. This is why I mentioned them specifically. But this is how you really can monitor what is happening with all these configuration files. Okay, online documentation. So we have an online documentation of all of our PlantTools. and some additional or specific topics. So I will also show that live. First of all, I mentioned this file watcher you can enable in Plant Data Manager or Plant Reporter to monitor what is happening in that command file. As I mentioned, it's typically used for our support people. If we want to investigate why, let's say, a certain configuration file is not handled, or maybe it's handled, but it's not checked out, it's only downloaded, something like that. We can use that for monitoring purposes. And but you can also, there's a topic, how you can activate it yourself. We don't have a checkbox for that in the settings. We didn't want to make it too convenient, but this really helps you to see what is happening if you are interested in that. And also you can filter if you, let's say you have a certain file and you are wondering, or you have that long list of entries and you just can type in some part of a file or some string and it filters the whole not batch process, but the whole grid for that file. And then very, very important for you is what is happening in our PlantTools in regards to collaboration projects. So if every PlantTool has a chapter collaboration workflows. If we look here at Plant Data Manager, there's first of all a chapter at the beginning where we list all the files which are handled. So there is an XML file, and it explains what is in that file. And this may also be interesting for non-collaboration users. So just in general, it's the same files, but here we have them listed. So this is, for example, for the settings. It's another settings file, but here you have every file we use, the LCF files, the collection files, and so on. There are more details. And so you get a list of the files. But then if we scroll down, or maybe I scroll up, and then under that, you have all the functions you can use, for example, opening a collaboration project. In this case, in Plant Data Manager, what is happening? So when you open it, you see, okay, the data cache file of myself, of the current user, that is, well, either checked out if it's my file, or from the other user, they will be downloaded. So we have for every file listed here at the top, you see what will be done. Will it be downloaded? Will it be checked in, checked out, and so on, depending on the function. For example, deleting all my changes I have in Plant Data Manager. For example, the DCF file with the changes will be deleted, and so on. So this is what you find under each plant tool in the online documentation. To get to the online documentation, maybe the easiest way is if you're on some button. If you are on the settings button here for Plant Express Tools and you press F1, then it jumps directly here. So, and it's just one online documentation. Okay, next steps. Here I want to give you a quick update of what is happening and what will happen soon. And this is, we are in the finishing steps of PlantTools for Plant 3D 2025. Autodesk made significant changes, not to Plant 3D itself, but to the underlying Windows technology. And that had a dramatic effect in the time we needed to adapt PlantTools. But we are almost done. So around 3 or 4 weeks, we should be done with the adaptation. And then, for whatever reason, now we have a lot of interest in PlantTools for Volt. And this is then also something we will start implementing after the release for 2025. We will also make a release or adapt PlantTools for Volt projects, which is actually pretty similar to how collaboration projects are handled. I mean, pretty similar for us as a developer, but for you also, there are files which are checked out and checked in and so on. There is still some remaining work of some PlantTools functions for collaboration. We started that process, I think, 3.5 years ago, adapting first Plant Data Manager and Plant Reporter, but it is a very long process. There is also in the online documentation, there is a link or a chapter where you can get an overview what the current state is. Okay, and I think we are now at the Q&A session, assuming there are some. Maybe Erhan, you have some questions?
No, first, thank you for your presentation. I think everything was clear enough because we have no questions at all.
Okay.
And yeah, the 30 minutes are also done.
A little bit better
if you
this
would
time.
like to know more, you can request a consultation or start directly with a trial version. Yeah, this was the last webinar for today. You can, of course, watch our keynotes on demand at YouTube. They will be uploaded next week, I guess, early next week. So thanks again to Carsten, and thanks all of you for listening.
And
that's it for today.
Soon.
Yeah.
Yep, bye.
Have a great day.